The fans make their way into Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri for Game 1 of a 4-game series between the Red Sox and the Royals. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Steve Lyons. Welcome to Red Sox baseball. Tonight, the Red Sox take on a very good Kansas City Royals team. First time the Red Sox have been to KC this year. And tonight on the mound, and our Chevy key player to watch is Clay Buchholz, who's been very good lately.
He has been. In his last 3 starts, his numbers have been outstanding. When you look at what you see there on the board with an ERA of under 2, he's pitched well enough to win all 3 of those games. And, of course, against Kansas City, he has dominated. And I think this represents 2 different things for him. Number one, I think after he came off of the DL, he was a little bit more well-rested, and he came out there with a little bit extra zip on that fastball. The miles per hour are up, and he's not afraid to use it. The other thing is the fact that I think he's gone away from the cut fastball a little bit more often. I thought that was a pitch that got him in trouble too often. He's mixing in more breaking balls, more fastballs, and using all of his pitches and putting that cutter in his back pocket.
Some terrific numbers for him against these Kansas City Royals. He'll need it tonight. Royals playing some very good baseball. Well, of course, the flags are at half-mast tonight from Kansas City as we remember 9/11. We're back with the first pitch right after this. Southwest Airlines, Dunkin' Donuts, your New England Nissan dealers, Sullivan Tire and Auto Repair, Subaru dealers of New England, and by Toyota's website for deals via Toyota.com. We welcome you back to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City as the Kansas City Royals take the field here tonight. As they do, let's check out the visiting Red Sox starting 9. Mookie Betts leading it off in right field with Xander Bogaerts at shortstop. David Ortiz at DH bats third with Yoenis Cespedes in left. Mike Napoli at first base. Will Middlebrooks at third base bats sixth with Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field. Christian Vasquez does the catching, he bats eighth. And Jamal Weeks at second base for the 3rd straight game, and he bats ninth. Tonight's Royals starting pitcher is presented by New England Nissan dealers. From Australia, Liam Hendriks gets a start tonight for the Kansas City Royals. His 6th game, 5th start. 1-1 with a 4.81 earned run average, 24 in the 3rd innings. 16 strikeouts to 4 walks, and opponents hitting at .245 against Hendriks. Last start against New York did take the loss. 4 innings, giving up 4 runs, 3 were earned. Didn't walk anybody, and he struck out 3.
Defensively for the Royals, As you look at the infield, Moustakas at third base. Escobar, a lot of people think he should win a Gold Glove at short this year. Infante with the sore shoulder at second, and Hosmer at first. And into the outfield, boy, there's a Gold Glover out there in Gordon. Alex Gordon, former third baseman. Renzo Kane in center field, and Aoki in right. Here's your battery for the day. Salvi Perez is your catcher, an outstanding one behind the plate. And Hendricks gets the ball today.
The umpiring crew tonight as Brian Knight has the play calling the balls and strikes with Manny Gonzalez at first base, Eric Cooper, the crew chief, at second base, and Chris Siegel, the umpire, at third. Weather conditions unusually cool here, especially this time of year. It's 58 degrees to begin the ball game tonight. Forecast is cloudy. The breeze in from center field at 12 miles per hour.
Summer's over.
Pretty much here in Kansas City anyway. A lot warmer at home when we left. And the Red Sox, of course, beginning this three-city tour, 4 here in Kansas City. They go to Pittsburgh and then Baltimore before the end of the trip. And the end of the road schedule, for that matter, for the Red Sox. Mookie Betts about to lead it off here. That's 280 with 4 home runs and 11 runs batted in. Sounds like Mookie's going to be playing some second base coming up here as pitch is in there for strike one, and we're underway. Today we learned that Dustin Pedroia had successful surgery on his wrist/thumb, and that's good. The Red Sox in this situation now have some available time at second base. Brock Holt battling apparently what is now being thought as a concussion, and is being tested for that. So the Red Sox need somebody to play on a regular basis. Weeks has played the last couple of games, but it sounds like we may see Mookie Betts as early as tomorrow night in that spot.
Crazy late developments here with the surgery for Pedroia, and now Mookie Betts moving over to second base most likely. The concussion worries with Brock Holt. There was an illness that went flying through this ball club.
Popped up right around the mound. Moustakas coming up over the top of the mound, but it'll be Hosmer. Makes the catch to the right of it for the first out of the ball game. Let's check out our FW Web closer look at Xander Bogaerts in the month of September in 10 games. Hitting at .375, .390 on base percentage, and home runs in back-to-back games, and now has 11 on the year. So far so good in the month of September for Xander. One down for Bogaerts. Hitting at .235, 11 home runs, 37 runs batted in. It's jammed and pops it up. Foul ground. Hosmer racing over, but he won't have a play.
Over the last week or so, there's been a few guys on this ball club that have experienced the flu-like symptoms. Napoli, Brock Holt and his wife both were sick. But then when Brock and his wife started feeling better from whatever the flu was, the other symptoms that Holt was experiencing didn't go away. Some are starting to point towards that collision a couple weeks ago up in Toronto, where he and Pedroia ran into each other. Pedroia gave him a forearm shiver to the side of his jaw. Of course, Holt didn't complain about it then. He continued to play, and then it seemed like it got worse and worse, and now they're worried that he has a concussion.
So he'll have to go through the natural tests that Major League Baseball provides to clear all those hurdles. They check, and Manny Gonzalez, first base umpire, said he didn't go.
Interesting with Mookie Betts, they pretty much said he is not going to be playing the infield anymore. We want to see him play out the string here as an outfielder. We love his actions out there. We want to really see him out there to determine whether or not he can be a viable everyday outfielder. And the next thing you know, Pedroia has the surgery, of which they said went very, very well. And now all indications are that Mookie Betts will be your second baseman now, at least until Holt comes back.
It sounds like this period for Dustin Pedroia will be a 6-week recovery, which is a great thing, which means his offseason regimen will not be too much affected heading into spring training next year for sure.
He works so hard, and sometimes you feel like you should rein him back a little bit. Maybe this will force him to take a little extra time, but getting it done as soon as possible. And they said that it was sort of a ligament issue where as soon as they released the issue in there, he already felt better.
2 balls, 2 strikes here to Xander Bogaerts. He'll hit it in the air to center field, sending Lorenzo Cain back a step or two. 2 down in the inning. Hendricks has the first 2 outs here in the first inning, and it brings up David Ortiz. David at 261 with 32 home runs, 98 runs batted in. For 3 yesterday in the finale of the homestand. Picked up his 547th double of his career, tying Manny Ramirez. 27th place on Major League Baseball's all-time list. Shift on for Big Papi here on the right side.
It's funny how different teams employ a little bit different shifts with Big Papi. Remember we talked about yesterday how the second baseman was so far out into right field he almost formed a perfectly straight line with the first baseman and the right fielder. Kansas City not quite that drastic.
That'll just miss. And how deep is Aoki out there in right field? He is backed up in deep right field, just shy of the track out there.
Yeah, he needs a ticket to get back in the game. I disagree with playing that deep, because if the ball's hit over your head, it's out of the park or off the wall. You're not really giving yourself a chance to run back and catch one. You're already all back there, so you're really limiting your range on a ball that's hit in front of you.
Ed Yost at the helm of this Royals team, and what a successful run they've had this season. After so many years of losing here in Kansas City, they have turned things around and trying to get to the postseason. And to start today's action, they have a 1-game lead atop the American League Central. Just had a big series against the Tigers and beat Detroit last night. Behind James Shields. 2-2 is popped up. Foul off third base, and that'll get back into the seats. Now here is the AL Central situation right now, and this is going to be an interesting stretch run. 2 games in the loss column at the moment, but 1 game back of Kansas City are the Tigers, and I think most figured the Tigers would run away with the AL Central.
How big was James Shields in yesterday's ball game after Kansas City had dropped the first 2 of that series? He stepped up and dazzled as he usually does, and they came away with a final win in that series.
Down the left field line, falling fast and falling foul. Gordon had played him over towards left center, and Big Papi's coming on back with a count of 2-2. James Shields in the game you referenced from last night, 7 shutout innings through 98 pitches, 8 strikeouts along the way.
Big game James. There's going to be a lot of interest in him in the offseason.
Ortiz takes it the other way. Base hit to left field.
Where he hit that ball, it would have been a base hit even if they didn't have the shift on him, because it would have been right in between the third baseman and shortstop. Excellent job taking a ball that's running away from him and shooting it the other way. Exactly what you're supposed to do with that pitch. Hendricks was trying to get him to roll over and try to pull it into the shift.
0-2 down. Ortiz at first, and here's Yoenis Cespedes. 261 with 21 home runs, 94 runs batted in. Cespedes with a total of 27 RBIs since joining the Red Sox on August the 2nd. Runners on. He hits a 304. He's got David Ortiz at first base right now. Eric Hosmer holding on. Ortiz fouled off to the right, and it's a ball and a strike now to Cespedes.
And of course, a lot of the numbers that Cespedes has put up this season came in Oakland, but you have a definite chance of having 2 guys in this Red Sox order that are going to drive in 100 this year. Cespedes now overall with 21 homers and 94 RBIs. Big Papi at 98.
A little bit low for ball 2. I have to think Oakland really misses Cespedes. Their offense has not been the same since he's been gone.
Lester's been great for them, but you know they do need to score some runs, and boy, they just haven't been able to do it, and they haven't been the same team. And I think a lot of people will be pointing the finger at that move. I think that's a little simplistic, but they have not played well.
On the ground to shortstop, Escobar will go underhanded to second for the force out. That ends the top of the first inning. Orioles coming up from Kansas City. Bottom of the first inning. Nori Aoki in right field leading it off with Omar Infante at second base. Alex Gordon in left. Josh Willingham into the DH with Eric Hosmer at first base. Salvador Perez does the catching. Mike Moustakas at third base. Renzo Cain in center field bats eighth. And Alcides Escobar, shortstop, batting ninth. Tonight's Red Sox starting pitcher presented by New England Audi dealers. Experience the all-new 2015 Audi A3 today. Clay Buchholz back on the hill here for the Red Sox in his 25th start of the year. 7-8 with a 5.29 earned run average. 112 strikeouts on the year. Opponent sitting at 273. As Aoki leads it off and takes a pitch down low for ball one. A start for him Saturday against the Blue Jays, going 6 1/3, giving up 2 runs and picking up his 7th win of the year. This is laced to right. Betts on the move, not going to get there. Over his head into the right field corner. And Aoki is headed for 2 at least. He'll pull it up there as he rounded second base. A double to get the bottom of the first inning started.
Well, let's check location on this pitch. Aoki is a tough guy to pitch to. Just short, compact swing. Not the most athletic swing. If you're a little leaguer, you'd never teach him how to swing the bat that way. But he gets the bat head out. No chance for Betts, and he gets the ball back in with a good, strong throw. Aoki cannot try for 3.
So Aoki at second base. Omar Infante the batter.
You can pretty much mark it down that Infante will try to get this ball to the right side to move Aoki into scoring position.
Bluff off the backside by Buchholz as Aoki darting back to the bag at second. Buchholz trying to ease into this start, but double by Aoki to get it started here for the Kansas City Royals. And Infante bunting it to the right side, but foul. Fans, you can test your Red Sox IQ right now on the MLB Preplay mobile app. Download for free and start predicting every at-bat of every Red Sox game all season long. Tonight, Preplay predicts Clay Buchholz, who goes 6 1/3 innings, allowed 3 earned runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Buchholz winning each of his last 2 starts at Tampa Bay and at home against Toronto.
Had a little trouble getting on the same page there with Vasquez behind the plate.
One bit and it is dropped down. Napoli with Weeks covering at first base. 3-4 on the sacrifice. Is on to third base goes Aoki.
That's why they brought Infante here. He's having a little bit of an off season. They brought him here for his veteran leadership and his willingness to do whatever it takes to win games. Dropping a bunt down here. He's been slowed by a sore shoulder. His bat's a little bit slow right now, but you don't need a quick bat to drop down a bunt.
One down, Aoki 90 feet away at third base, and brings up Alex Gordon. Gordon in the 3 spot, hitting at .271 with 19 homers, 66 RBIs. And defensively, the winner of 3 Gold Gloves, making the move from third base to left field for Alex Gordon over the last few years. Let's take strike 1.
This is the face of the franchise right here. Alex Gordon is basically Kansas City's stud on this team. Struggled a little bit at third. They moved him into left field. Promptly became one of the best left fielders in baseball. 3 Gold Gloves. Tons of assists.
Remember when he first came up as a third baseman, so much pressure on him as everyone compared him to George Brett.
The
That's
next
pretty tough.
George Brett, they said. I don't think there's not too many George Bretts out there, but he's certainly evolved into an outstanding player for this team.
4 home runs on the last Kansas City homestand. 5 for his last 11 at the plate. And a swing and a miss.
Good breaking ball out of Buchholz. Looks like a strike to hit and then disappears on you. I don't know, you don't see it happen too often, but if I was Buchholz right here, I'd pitch out of the stretch. The guy on third base, especially with the left-handed hitter up. Great vision for Vasquez. Everybody knows how much slower the game gets when Buchholz is in his stretch.
Well, he strikes out Alex Gordon. First strikeout for Buchholz. Needed that, and he gets him. 2 down.
All right, here's the Red Sox defense for you now, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Middlebrooks at third, Bogarts, Weeks, and Napoli rounding things out in the infield. Out there in the outfield, Cespedes in his usual spot in left. Jackie Bradley Jr. back in center field. You know you can run him down in this big outfield. And Mookie Betts moving over to right field. Battery tonight, Vasquez and Clay Buchholz coming off of 3 stellar starts, trying to improve on that tonight.
2 down here in the inning for Josh Willingham, former Minnesota Twin. Willingham right in the middle of this Kansas City order, the DH. And he'll take ball 1.
Not a bad pickup for this Kansas City organization. Provides a little bit of pop for you. Playing a little bit more than they wanted him to, but really because Billy Butler's tanking it lately. Butler's 2 for his last 25.
Willingham playing for the Minnesota Twins for parts of the last 3 years. Traded on August the 11th here to Kansas City. Change for minor league pitcher Jason Adam. 5-game hitting streak coming in for Willingham. There's Billy Butler, who's had a tough time at the plate. Finds himself on the bench again tonight. Willingham will take the strike right down the middle, as it turns out.
Good late break on this pitch. Watch him jelly leg Willingham right there. Wasn't no couldn't figure out a way to pull the trigger on it.
Aoki at third base, 2 down in the inning. Fastball running in, and Buchholz falls behind here, 3-1. For his last 19 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Buchholz has to decide who he wants here. Does he want to go after Willingham or Hosmer?
Ball 4 didn't miss by a lot. Buchholz wanted it. First walk given up by Clay tonight.
Where's that pitch?
Buchholz didn't get it, and he walks Willingham. First and third, 2 down. Eric Hosmer coming up as Vasquez goes to the mound here to talk to Buchholz. Saturday on Dining Playbook with Billy Costa and Jenny Johnson. Visit Salvatore's in the Theater District. Sail on the Charles and chat on the field with Brock Holt and Christian Vasquez. It all begins Saturday morning at 9 on Dining Playbook. Eric Hosmer at 270, 6 homers, and 48 runs batted in. Take strike 1.
Hosmer missed most of the month of August with a broken hand. A lot of Red Sox fans may not remember this, but it was John Lester who hit him in the hand. He tried to play with it for about a week or 10 days. Then they finally realized that it was broken. Sat out for a month. It's kind of slowed his season.
Takes strike 2. So inside, outside, grabbing the corners here is Buchholz.
That's good late movement. That's the tailing, sinking fastball right there that you really want to see. And actually, that was changeup. He took some off of that one. Like a fastball the first time he threw it. 82 miles an hour. Probably why he had the good darting action away.
Timeout very late, and Buchholz has to pull it up. You can hear Brian Knight say it's my decision. John Farrell on him for how late it was.
Recent ruling, the umpire does not have to grant the hitter time if he asks for it. He decided to do that. It was a little late.
Back to the screen, still 0-2.
At the very least, we know that the field microphones are working
It's working really well. First and third, 2 down. Aoki with his walking lead off third base. Double to begin the inning. The sacrifice bunt for Omar Infante. Alex Gordon struck out. Josh Willingham walked, so it's first and third. Salvador Perez waiting on deck here for the Royals.
Buchholz should be in control of this at bat. He kind of pitched around Willingham once he got behind him. Didn't really care that he walked him. To go after this guy here. Now he's got him in perfect position. Doesn't have to throw him a strike.
Hosmer gets a piece.
Good breaking ball. That pitch spoiled by Hosmer. This pitch Buchholz was hoping to get a swing and miss on.
doesn't change his situation.
Trying to come in. And they do for strike 3. Buchholz with his second strikeout. The Royals waste a chance in the first.
Scion TC with tonight's poll question. Where are you watching tonight's game from? Sox 1 for a bar or a restaurant. Sox 2, you're watching it at home. Sox 3, you at a friend's house. Or Sox 4, MLB.com at bat. Text your answer to 536-536. Best fan data rates those may apply. Text help if you need it. Visit NESN.com/terms for all that fun legal stuff, guys.
All right, Gary, thanks very much as we head here to the second inning. Scoreless contest tonight in Kansas City. Royals had a very good chance but could not score. Now Mike Napoli leading it off here in the second inning. We'll take strike 1.
I like the way that Buchholz approached that inning after he got in trouble. We talked about the Willingham at bat. Once he fell behind him 3-1, he figured, I don't have to challenge him here. I can go after the next guy. He threw kind of a nasty pitch hoping for a strike. He didn't get it and went after Hosmer.
Infante throws out Napoli for the first out of this second inning. Well, school is back in session, but specially priced Red Sox tickets for students are still available for every Sox game. Tickets start at just $9, so go to redsox.com/student to take advantage of this great offer today. One out in the second inning and brings up Will Middlebrooks. He's been battling the flu lately for Boston, but Middlebrooks back in there. Yesterday did not play again. 1 for 6 in the series against the Orioles as he takes strike 1. Well, overall 182, 2 homers, 18 runs batted in. Center fielder Lorenzo Cain over to right center in a good sized gap out there in left center field for Middlebrooks. Shoots it foul down the right field line, out of play. Watching at home right now, running away with it in our Scion poll.
People chilling at home with dinner, cool beverage, Thursday night.
School night.
School night.
Fouled off again, still 1-2. They did a very nice job with the stadium here in Kansas City. Of course, the renovation taking place prior to the All-Star game. It was held here. They added the Hall of Fame out there and left closed in, really left to right, with seats out there now, a standing room. And to the famous fountain still here in Kansas City. But a beautiful ballpark. One of the older parks now. This is a fair ball inside the line at third. Over to play it is Alex Gordon as Middlebrooks is heading for second base. Throw will go there on many hops. And Middlebrooks to second with a one-out double.
He threw a grounder into second.
Pretty much.
Nice job by Middlebrooks here, getting the bat head out, just yanking this one down. That's what, if a guy's going to throw you a sinking fastball down and in, you have to kind of get that head out in front. I always tell right-handers, if the guy's going to be throwing you a lot of sinkers, you got to pull it. And it's nice to see Middlebrooks get a little more aggressive up there. We've seen him take a lot of called pitches, a lot of called thirds, go up hacking.
Jackie Bradley Jr. in the lineup tonight in center field. And a swing and a miss for strike one. 213, the home run, 30 runs batted in. And for Jackie, going back to Pawtucket, really didn't change much. He hit at 212 while he was with the Paw Sox, so batting average right there again for him in 16 games with the Paw Sox. Played in 2 postseason games for Pawtucket. Called from the Paw Sox, his second major league stint of the year. Foul and out of play.
Liam Hendricks. Probably not from Kentucky.
Actually from Australia.
Indeed he is. Do you have the Australian accent going?
No. You got one you can feature?
No.
Nothing.
I wish I could. I'm not an accent guy. I can't do it. Can't pull off anything. Every one of my accents sounds the same. Not like the one I'm trying to do.
1-2 for a defensive swing and a pitch headed in. Liam from Perth, Australia. He's 25 years of age. Made his major league debut with the Twins in 2011. Came here from the Jays on July the 28th.
Did a great job for this team. I mean, this is a guy who's having to step in for a team who's in first place, but trying to stay there, obviously. Tremendous numbers in AAA with Toronto.
Swing and a miss. Going to try to turn it into 2, but back to the bag at second goes Middlebrooks. Dancing off the glove there of Escobar, covering the bag at second after the strikeout of Bradley Jr.
Four-seam fastball up in the zone. Jackie Bradley's not going to be able to catch up with that one.
Got to be careful of Salvador Perez. He's not afraid to throw it around. He's an exciting catcher to watch.
2 of the best young catchers in baseball featured in this game today with Vasquez and Perez. They're standing next to each other right now.
Vasquez will take ball 1.
So Hendricks' father actually was an Australian rules football guy. I guess Liam actually played a little bit as a kid himself, but clearly threw a baseball a little bit better. I used to love watching the Australian rules football on TV with the guys with the sweet jacket and the hat.
Yeah, the officials.
Oh, yeah. I could care less about the game. I didn't understand it. I just wanted to see the official just say that the guy scored.
Because I don't get the rules, really.
Yeah.
It's tough to follow.
It's like a modified rugby. They just kick it anytime they feel like it.
There's like no rhyme or reason for. I'm sure there is. This is on the ground to first base. Hosmer can't get it. It's through him and into right field. Middlebrooks going to try and score, and he will. No throw from Aoki, and the Red Sox are on the board. They take advantage of Eric Hosmer's miscue at first base.
If you're a first baseman, really no excuse for letting one get through the wickets. Hey, is that an Australian term?
Might be.
Or English? I mean, as a first baseman, you could literally get down on one knee and keep that thing in front of you. Either the pitcher's going to get over there to cover, or it's such a short distance to travel for you to stand back up and go over there and tag first base.
So error charge to Hosmer. Red Sox take advantage of it, take a 1-0 lead. And Jemiah Weeks batting out of the number 9 spot. Vasquez at first. And takes strike one. Weeks at 238. No home runs and no runs batted in so far. Third straight start at second base. Again, it sounds like we may see Mookie Betts at second base tomorrow night for Boston in Game 2 of the series. The ground balls there today. 1-1 pitch is outside. 2-1. Another reason that John Farrell gave was that when Rusney Castillo is ready, he'll be taken over in center field and sharing time with Jackie Bradley Jr.
No, as we said, they gave him that huge contract. They're trying to get him in game shape. Playing him Pawtucket now.
To left, Gordon was there. Now actually has to go back a step to haul it in. A costly error by Eric Hosmer as the Red Sox on top 1-0. Game. Tweet your photo to hashtag NESSNFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in our broadcast, brought to you by AT&T. Tonight's fan photo is from PDP, whose photo on this anniversary of 9/11 is from yesterday at patriotic Fenway Park. He reminds us all to never forget. Flags at half-mast here in Kansas City. Red Sox on top 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Salvador Perez leading it off and taking strike one. Perez 264, 16 homers, 64 runs batted in. He's fun to watch in behind the dish, not afraid to throw it around.
We've obviously seen that Vasquez isn't scared. This guy, the one thing, if there's a knock on him, and as you see at the 0-2 count already, he swings at almost everything. Problem is if you throw him something good to hit, it crushes it. Playing right into Buchholz's hands right now. Obviously, we talked about it before. You don't have to throw this guy a strike, probably for at least the next 2 pitches to get him out.
Perez with 16 home runs on the year. See what kind of confidence Buchholz gains from getting out of that jam in the first inning. Leadoff double by Aoki in the first inning. Worked his way around it. Now the Red Sox get a run for him. It's 1-0 Boston. As Perez backs out.
Such great movement on that pitch that he struck Hosmer out with. Threw it right at his belt buckle. Tailed back into the inside part of the plate for strike 3.
You're talking about less cutters from Buchholz, you thought, last couple of times out.
Yeah, you know, I think guys can fall in love with that pitch. I mean, there's very few Mariano Rivera's out there. I mean, guys have used it effectively, but it just seemed to me earlier in this season that he kind of fell in love with it, and I thought he got in trouble with it a lot.
Deep third, Middlebrooks. Get it there in plenty of time to retire Perez for the first out of the inning. Well, all football season, play the $500,000 football challenge at Foxwoods Resort Casino. Each week, the guest with the most picks wins $5,000. Foxwoods is an official sponsor of the Boston Red Sox.
When you see a guy who's pitching and you watch his starts and he's not going very well, and then somehow he turns it around and pitches better, all of a sudden you look for reasons why. And to me, a little extra velocity on the fastball, that always helps you. Using it more. And then mixing in his breaking pitches. And to me, and you know, everybody has their own opinion, but for me watching him, fewer cutters.
Curveball there is going to miss. Dealing with Mike Moustakas, a third baseman. He's had kind of a tough year average wise at 207. Moustakas does have 15 home runs.
When you think of what a cut fastball is designed to do, it's supposed to just kind of move a little bit, 6 to 8 inches off the barrel of the bat, either in on the hands or off onto the end of the bat. But you are taking 3 to 4 to 5 miles an hour off of your fastball. So if it's not working or you put it in a bad location, all you're really doing is throwing a bad pitch out over the middle that gets hit hard.
Swing and a miss, and Moustakas strikes out. Third strikeout for Clay Buchholz, 2 down.
Well, he's used that pitch well tonight as well. Taking some off. Late movement. That one 84 miles an hour. Another change. His other one was 82. So he's got great downward tilt to both the changeup and the sinking fastball tonight. He's mixed in the breaking ball. What else do you need? You can get guys out all night long with that stuff.
Can be tough when he's got it all going on. We've seen that in the past. In the last 3 outings, he certainly has. Here's Lorenzo Cain. He drives one out towards deep left center field. Gets down as Bradley Jr. gets it on the warning track. And into second with a 2-out double goes Lorenzo Cain.
Lorenzo Cain not wasting any time, looking for that first fastball and hammering it. This is a guy who really didn't play any baseball until his junior year in high school. Still a little bit raw, even though he's been around for a while now.
Second double of the night for Kansas City. A 2-out double here for Cain. And a chance here for Alcides Escobar, the shortstop for Kansas City. 276, 2 homers, and 45 runs batted in. Got 24 infield hits on the year. 5th in the AL as he shoots it foul off to the right out of play. .395 since July 22nd. Runners in scoring position.
And they love the way this kid plays. The nephew of Kelvin Escobar.
Hard throwing pitcher.
Yeah.
On
Pitch
Blue
with the
Jays.
Angels. Yep. Blue Jays, yeah. I asked him, he was being funny, but he said, hey, where I'm from, Escobar is almost like Johnson. There's a bunch of us with that name. But he believes that somewhere along the line in his family, there have been 8 or 9 of his relatives that have played professional baseball.
He's 7 years of age. His debut in 08 for Milwaukee.
Did he come over with Kane in that deal for Greinke, I think?
That's going to miss. 2-1.
Really a good deal when you think about it for the Kansas City Royals, who got 2 guys up the middle defensively that are mainstays in their lineup. And Greinke was brilliant for Milwaukee. I don't think he ever lost a home game. But then he moved on to the Dodgers, so you really don't have much for it anymore.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yuneski Bencourt involved in that deal as well. That was in 2010.
So you put together kind of some cornerstone guys to make your franchise better, something that this Kansas City Royals organization has been sorely looking for since 1985.
Kane and Odorizzi came over as well. So you got Odorizzi, of course, was part of the deal for Will Myers and went to Tampa Bay.
Right.
And now the rotation for the Rays. Escobar swing and a miss there as he goes lunging and a pitch down and away. Frustrated with himself as it evens at 2-2.
There it is again. Turning that thing over, using the changeup very nicely tonight.
Little bloop behind second base. Out goes Weeks. Can't get it. Around from second comes Kane. And the Royals tie the game 1-1. Jemiah Weeks with the best opportunity couldn't come up with it. And Kane scores from second. All of this has come with 2 outs.
Weeks didn't allow for the spin on the ball. You'll see him turn to his right and run into center field when the ball's tailing back away from him. So he has to get out there and then turn around the wrong way. And he can't make the play. It's not an easily made play, but it should have been played better than that.
Two down. Escobar at first base now. Not afraid to take off. Escobar 29 stolen bases. Been caught 4 times on the year. Be looking to get into scoring position here with 2 down in the inning.
Vasquez will be looking to gun him down.
Second look here for Aoki at Buchholz as he was able to double in the first inning. There he goes. Pitches a strike, and Vasquez drops the ball in the transfer as Escobar steals his 30th base of the year.
You know how we often talk about big league players don't actually reach in their glove and grab the ball. They flip it to their offhand. And in that case, Vasquez tried to be a little bit too quick. And when he flipped it to his hand, it didn't get in there cleanly.
He gets his 30th, a long way from Jose Altuve with 52. This is foul, driven into the seats. Well, don't miss the tradition honoring Tim Wakefield, Teddy Bruschi, Patrice Bergeron, and other legends of Boston sports. This annual fundraising gala returns to the TD Garden this Wednesday. Proceeds benefit the nonprofit Sports Museum. For tickets or to learn about sponsorship opportunities, visit sportsmuseum.org. 2 outs and run in. A runner at second base here for Kansas City. Aoki on the ground at third base. Middlebrooks on the run and late. Throw to third, gets away. Escobar will jog home, and Kansas City takes a 2-1 lead. Now the Red Sox with a miscue of their own.
Now they don't say how hard do you hit it, just get it done. 2 of the uglier base hits you're ever going to see back to back. This ball is just a jam shot, but because of the way Aoki swings the bat, he's halfway down to first before the ball gets to Middlebrooks. That throw back by Napoli just caught Bogarts a little bit leaning the other way, and he can't get back to make the play.
It is a base hit and an error charged to Napoli, and the throw back across it got away. Allows the run to score in Escobar that has put Kansas City on top 2-1. Omar Infante, the sacrifice bunt in the first inning. Fly ball out to right field, and Mookie Betts, he'll put it away to end the inning, but the Royals score twice and take a 2-1 lead. View is of our booth here in Kansas City, one of the better booths I think in the major leagues. You come in, not too big, not too small, lots of space in the back, got a refrigerator there, nice area there with the bar stools there leading up to our area where we actually sit. The bar stools are for the open.
Really?
And this is our view.
They're not for,
over.
They're not for post game?
They're not for post game. For the open and view from the booth.
That was a good one.
Not bad, huh?
I liked it.
Where we live here in Kansas City, very nice. They actually made this booth when they did the renovation. Used to be a level higher than we are now, so now you're actually really pretty low. You're right at the top of the screen. This is one of the lower vantage points, I think, anywhere in the majors now.
Yeah, it looks great, except for when you walk into the hallway.
Yes.
Which is about a 7-foot ceiling. That's like a lawsuit waiting to happen out there, man. There's bolts and stuff hanging down.
If you're your height, it's not good. I'm okay. I go right through without any problem. It is like a submarine out there, kind of on, half floor. They created half a floor.
By game 3 of this series, I'm going to have a big scab on my forehead.
Now Mookie Betts leading it off here in the top of the 3rd inning. That's Bogaerts and Ortiz in the inning.
Of all the changes they made here to Kauffman Stadium, the greatest one for me was putting the grass in. It was so hot down there on the turf, and it looks beautiful now with the grass and the other changes that they made.
This is a line drive and a base hit for Mookie Betts into left field. Well, he had popped out his first time up, but a base hit to begin things here in the 3rd inning.
Kid just keeps playing better and better baseball, doesn't he? He's made the adjustment up here. There's a little cutter there that doesn't do anything and hits it so hard you can't make the play at short.
We've seen guys come up this year and struggle and try to develop at the major league level. He's not been one of them. He's coming up here swinging the bat.
Yeah, his first time up, he had inconsistent playing time. Got off to a little bit of a slow start there. They sent him back down. When he came up second time around, he had kind of figured some things out. Good kid. Smile on his face all the time. Happy to play wherever you throw him out there. I think he's coachable. They had him out there earlier today taking ground balls at second base, anticipating him being there tomorrow.
Close over at first base, but Betts back to the bag. He always takes that big lead at first base. It's not a problem until you get caught.
It's probably the one area where he hasn't had a whole lot of success, is stealing bases so far at the major league level. Caught just one time, but I want to see him go. I think he should be one of those almost automatic guys. If he's on, you know he's going to be running.
Bogaerts takes the ball and the count evens at 1-1. Ryan Butterfield reeling off the signs. Ball 2-1. Red Sox getting a run in the 2nd inning. Error charged Eric Hosmer, the first baseman, that scored Will Middlebrooks. David Ortiz on deck here. Red Sox batting in the top half of the 3rd inning. Mookie Betts stealing 33 bases in the minor leagues this year between Portland and Pawtucket before arriving in Boston. Pitch in the dirt, and it's now 3-1.
We'll see if maybe John Farrell wants to put on a little bit of a play. Maybe not necessarily a hit and run, but maybe a run and hit. Bogaerts can pick out a pitch if he wants to swing at it. He can. 3-1 count, looking dead red. Something good to hit. Maybe Betts is in the action here.
This ball 4 down to first base goes Bogaerts. The first 2 have reached for the Red Sox here in the 3rd inning. Remind you to tune in tonight after our Red Sox coverage to NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. Jamie and Adam will preview the Patriots-Vikings Week 2 matchup, and they'll have 9/11 tributes from around the sports world. See what know-how can do. A single and a walk, first 2 have reached here for Boston in the 3rd inning, and now David Ortiz, the batter. Big Poppy singled the other way, left field in the 1st inning. As one of 3 Red Sox hits in the game.
Can't really put the shift on when there's guys on base.
Leading hitter with runners in scoring position. Red Sox have Mookie Betts at second, Xander Bogaerts at first, and nobody out. Let's send it down to Gary.
Psycho and Dio, you guys were talking about Mookie Betts stealing more bases, and it's not because of lack of really freedom to steal bases. He was telling me that he actually has the green light, but he kind of has to feel out every single pitcher that he plays against, because it's usually the first time he's seen those guys. So, for example, like R.A. Dickey, when he pitches from the stretch, doesn't have too much of a high late kick when he delivers the home, so he really doesn't have that much time to pick up on it. And Hendricks is kind of the same way. He has more of a lunge right there, so maybe Betts is just kind of feeling him out this go-around.
I think that's an excellent point, Gary, and also the fact that Perez behind the plate, we've already talked about his ability behind the plate to throw guys out. So when you're talking about Salvador Perez and Vasquez, two guys that can change the game a little bit. If you are a speed demon type of a team, you got to think twice about it.
Ground ball foul, sharply hit. 92 stolen bases for Mookie Betts in the minor leagues. 208 games at the minor league level. Two on, nobody out. Big Papi with an even count at 2-2. Fly ball out towards left center field. Alex Gordon heading back onto the track to make the catch on the edge of it. Tagging at second and heading to third is Mookie Betts. He'll get there on the long fly out to left center field for David Ortiz. And it's now first and third with one out.
Nice job of reading this play. Watch Betts at the top of your screen. He's going to freeze for a minute. Now when he determines that Gordon's going to be able to run that thing down, and you saw that ball tail back, almost hit Gordon right in the lips. He was lucky to get his glove up in time. Mookie then tagged and moved on to third. Watch Gordon. This ball's going to be tailing back towards the left field line, and then, whoa! Almost overran it.
First and third, one down, and Yoenis Cespedes the batter. On the ground foul outside of third. Hey, Red Sox Nation, get a free medium beverage when you enroll in the Dunkin' Donuts Rewards program DD Perks. Then just pay with your registered DD card or DD mobile app to earn points towards more free beverages. It's Dunkin's way of rewarding their loyal fans. Enroll today at ddperks.com. The Red Sox run on Dunkin'. A 1 to Cespedes. Have to wait as they check on Bogarts at first base.
These are the type of situations that Cespedes has been so good for the Red Sox. Give him a chance to drive someone in. He's been able to do it. Ooh, look out.
Right up and in, and racing in from third base successfully is going to be Mookie Betts to tie the game at 2.
They think that ball hit Cespedes.
I thought it did too.
Cespedes thinks it hit him.
So now he's heading down to first base.
A smart thing for him to do would be say, that didn't hit me.
No.
Let Betts score, and I'll stay up here and hit.
Umpire's going to get together on this. It hit him, and that would be a dead ball, and Betts would have to go back to third base. Umpires getting together here right now. John Farrell not running out there yet.
Oh, yeah, right off the belt buckle. I thought for sure it hit him. I couldn't have imagined that ball would miss.
So Betts will go back to third base.
I don't know if I've ever seen a guy get hit right in the belt. Just couldn't get out of the way quick enough.
So now the bases are loaded with one out. Royals still on top here, 2-1. Umpires getting together and getting it right. As Napoli gets his second at bat of the night, he grounded out to second base in the second inning.
Even so, good hustle play by Mookie Betts down there, realizing the ball was dancing around here behind home plate. Nobody paid too much attention to it. He said, why don't I try to score?
The Sox have had at least one base runner in every inning so far, as they have the bases loaded here with one out in the third inning. Mookie Betts at third, Xander Bogaerts at second, Yoenis Cespedes at first. Two and 0.
Uh-oh. Napoli. He may create some more wind in the stadium with this swing. See something he likes? Where are you going?
I'm taking off.
What?
That thing came back hot.
Huh?
Casey Coleman is up in the pen, a right-hander.
You can come back up from under the desk now.
That was on its way.
Yeah,
that was a little hot to handle.
Good thing your chair has those little wheelies on it. You're
get
down
out.
and under, yeah.
And you got the really good sliding floor here in the booth. And hanging in for that. Bases loaded, one down. Napoli. Takes ball three. Close pitches.
Now this one's down. Napoli is kind of an ironic hitter, really. I mean, he has an excellent eye. Does strike out a lot, but he's usually swinging. He usually swings through pitches. He doesn't swing at pitches that are out of the zone very often. Look at that, just a tremendous eye.
Ball 40, walks in a run. Red Sox tie it up 2-2. Second walk of the inning allowed by Hendricks. And this will bring out Dave Island, the pitching coach, to the mound. So an RBI for Napoli on the bases loaded walk.
Think of how hard that is to do, being a guy like Napoli, who you know they're counting on him to drive in runs. You come up in a situation with the bases loaded. You had a 2-0 and a 3-1 pitch. You're begging to swing, and he spits on pitches that are out of the zone. He does a great job of it. Takes the walk, drives in a run anyway.
Bases reloaded here for Boston. And Will Middlebrooks coming up. Will with a double in the second inning. Came around to score the Red Sox first run. Takes ball one. Hendricks having some trouble throwing strikes right now. No margin for error with the bases loaded. Dave Island back on the phone again. They had Casey Coleman up in the pen, who continues to throw. There's a strike, 1-1. Kind of a mock cheer from this Kansas City crowd. Pitching line for Liam Hendricks so far: 2 and a third, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. The error by Hosmer allowed the first run to score. Middlebrooks to left field, a base hit. Bogart scores from third, and the Red Sox will take a 3-2 lead. Well, Middlebrooks 2 for 2 tonight, and he drives in Bogarts to put the Sox on top.
Once again, a little bit aggressive up there as Middlebrooks gets a pitch he likes, gets that bat head out. I know that John Farrell has talked a lot about the differences in Middlebrooks, and that he'd like to see him use the entire field more, but occasionally you come up against a guy that's sinking the ball, and you got to get that bat head out.
Second bad outing for Hendricks, who departs. 3-2 Boston. These maintenance players specializing in all of your cleaning and wellness needs. WB Mason also provides a full selection of 3M safety products that can't be struck out. Whatever, whenever, wherever. Who but WB Mason? Liam Hendriks leaves this game trailing 3-2, responsible for all the men on, bases loaded, as Jackie Bradley Jr. stands in and fouls the first pitch back. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by your local New England Ford dealers. A.C. Coleman comes into the game here for the Royals in the third inning. Sixth appearance, 4.50 earned run average. 4 walks to 2 Ks. Opponent sitting at .333 against Coleman.
Everybody wonders why Kansas City is still in this. They have virtually no power on their team. They don't necessarily catch the ball particularly well, but they're pitching. Goodness gracious, they have come through big time.
In their bullpen especially.
Lights out.
In there for strike 2.
They have 2 guys in the back half of their bullpen right now that are on 30-inning scoreless streaks. Kevin Herrera and Wade Davis. Neither one of those guys are even their closer.
Greg Holland, who has been bothered by some right tightness in his tricep. The second base for 1 to first for 2. They turn it. So Casey Coleman comes in, gets a big double play. Red Sox take a 3-2 lead. Hard Facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The Kansas City Royals have 3 pitchers with the longest current scoreless streaks in the American League. Got Wade Davis at 30 2/3 innings, Kelvin Herrera 29 2/3, and James Shields, who pitched last night for Kansas City, 18 1/3 in the midst of streaks. And very impressive for the 2 at the top coming out of the bullpen for the Royals.
It's a long time when you're a reliever.
Yeah, it's a lot of days.
They are 65-1 if they lead after 7 innings. So you better get to them quick, because they're already starting to turn the lights out. 7th inning's over. People start to leave. The PA announcer saying, "Please drive safely."
Alex Gordon leading it off here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Grounder with a shift on left side. Bogart's got to hurry. Bare hands and throws.
Wow!
In time. Nice play by Xander Bogaerts. Let's see if the Royals are going to challenge this. A bang play at first base.
It's a very difficult play for any shortstop who's actually running away from the play. He's running towards the third baseline, barehanding it, turning all the way around and trying to get enough on that throw, and he got him.
Buchholz certainly liked it for out number 1 at the bottom of the 3rd inning. Here's Josh Willingham. And a one-hopper at Buchholz on a broken bat. And Bogaerts throws him out. Buchholz able to break that bat. It splintered back in his direction as Bogaerts has 2 assists here in the 3rd inning. On this Sunday, catch a special David Ortiz-themed episode of NESN Clubhouse. We learn how to hit opposite field and how to get strong like David Ortiz. Plus, we learn how to be a bullpen cop at Fenway. Don't miss NESN Clubhouse live and commercial-free Sunday at 12:30. 2 down in the 3rd inning brings up Eric Hosmer. He struck out looking in the 1st inning, 0 for 1. He'll take strike 1. Buchholz with 3 strikeouts in the game. He has walked a batter. Hosmer down 0-2. The longest hitting streak of the year for the Royals this year, 16-game hitting streak. June 30th through July the 20th at 360 during that hitting streak.
Like Bogaerts in this inning, showing his versatility as a budding shortstop. One play very difficult going to his right away from the play, and then that last one literally backing up to get a better hop so that he could make the play.
Swing and a miss. Buchholz strikes out Hosmer for the 2nd time tonight as a 1-2-3 inning, 3-2 Boston. Eastern Bank knows small business keeps our economy and community strong. That's why they've been named the #1 SBA lender in Massachusetts 5 years in a row. Eastern Bank, here you're first. Our kids area really high in the stadium here at Kauffman Stadium in left field. As Christian Vasquez leads it off into the 4th inning. Vasquez reaching on the error committed by Hosmer. Hosmer's had a tough game. He struck out twice and made an error at first base that led to a run. Vasquez grounds one to Escobar at shortstop. Tough hop, and he boots it. Didn't play the hop, and reaching at first base is Vasquez. Another error for the Royals.
That's kind of the thing we talked about with Bogaerts. He backed up on a play. Just because you're a shortstop doesn't mean you have to charge every play. Vasquez can't run. You don't have to charge yourself into an error right there. Sit back right now. Take that big hop. Ran himself right into an error.
So the second error for the Royals, and it is the second time that Vasquez has been the recipient reaching at first base. First Hosmer's error, now Escobar. Here's Jamal Weeks. Showing bunt, pulls it back and takes it down and in.
How about that number 7 in a Red Sox uniform this year? It's been
used.
Worn out.
Yes.
Kelly Johnson, Stephen Drew, Jamal Weeks. Nobody had it before Drew, right? Because it was his number before. They just waited for
J.D. Drew had it before, or not before the season, though.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, earlier in the season, though. J.D. Drew, and then Trot Nixon for a number of years before J.D. Drew. And Steve Lyons.
Well, one of the 4 numbers I wore.
What else you got? What are the 3? Do you remember?
At 12.
Yep.
19, 30, and 7. 4 different times I came back. My first number was 54, but I never wore that in the big leagues. It was in spring training. It felt like a pulling guard.
Yeah.
It's a good number.
Punched at it for strike 2. Vasquez at first base, reaching on an error.
What's Butterfield telling you right there?
Absolutely nothing.
You talk to a lot of third base coaches, they'll openly tell you they practice in front of a mirror, getting their own signs down. Not because they want it to look good, but because they want to be fluid and smooth and get kind of a rhythm going so that your own team can understand what you're trying to tell them.
What was that?
Make sure the ball's on the ground. Don't run with a ball in the air.
Swing and a miss, and Weeks strikes out for the first out here in the 4th inning.
Not much to that, just down in the zone. You get some extra movement down there. Weeks comes up empty.
Third time in the last 4 games that Kansas City has had 2 errors in a game. Talked about their defense. They had 2 miscues already tonight. We'll play here in the 4th inning. Third first, 1 down, and Mookie Betts the batter.
Now you talk about how complicated sometimes those signs can get. My first stint with the Red Sox in '85-'86, Renee Latchman was the third base coach. There you see Butter going through the signs again. And he said that we were a really stupid team.
Not smart.
Yeah, we were dumb. And so he had to go with what he called dummy signs.
He dumbed it down for you?
He did. And it was amazing what he did. Usually your signs are take, bunt, hit and run, steal, right? There's not too many others. And a lot of times it's just the quadrants there. It would be on the B or the N or either one of your thighs. A lot of times that's where the sign is. But it's the indicator. If I touch my nose before I touch the B, then it's a bunt. If I don't touch my nose first and I touch the B, there is no bunt. So you're really looking for the indicator that tells you that something's on. My nose is always the indicator. I'm going to do a million different things, but if you see me touch the nose and then the B, now something's on. Well, we couldn't figure it out.
Still, even under that system. Okay.
And then on top of that, they'll touch the nose, then the B, so you think you're bunting, and then there's a wipe-off sign.
Right, I was just going to ask you that.
Now I can wipe it off, too. So it's easy to be stupid.
Yeah, I mean, why would you put it on if you're only going to wipe it off in the same sequence?
Because your fear is that the other team knows what your signs are. So Latchman came up with a great one. He says, I'm going to give you all those signs. I'm going to give you 1,000,000 of them. They don't mean anything. If I clap one time, take. If I clap twice after, it's a bunt. If I clap 3 times, hit and run. 4 was a steal. And think about it.
Yeah, that works.
It does work.
Everything he was doing meant nothing.
Yep.
Diving at third base is Moustakas. He goes to second and throws it away into right field. The errors continue for the Kansas City Royals. They're throwing it all over the place right now.
I think it's a Christian Vasquez thing. They cannot get him out no matter where he is. If they try to throw the ball wherever he is, they can't do it.
It is a single and an error charge to the third baseman, Moustakas.
Single and an error, huh?
Yes.
Well, it was a nice play to grab it and then fired it into the outfield.
First and third, one down. Xander Bogaerts has flied out to center, walked and scored. Starting and stopping at first base was Betts.
So just to finish the thought there, usually if you look at a third base coach, when he's done giving his signs, he almost always will clap his hands once or twice. So you always figure there's one little clap from Butterfield right there. Everyone figures the signs are finished once the guy starts clapping his hands.
Unless you're a really dumb
Unless
team.
you're really dumb. That's when the signs start.
Throw to first base and back is Betts. Do you think you were one of the smarter guys on the team?
No.
No.
I actually, we discussed this, and we'll take another look at that as this game develops with Christian Vasquez when he's flashing the signs to the pitcher. I have no idea how they get it right, and I know what they're doing.
To third base, and Moustakas coming home for the out there as Vasquez is tagged out. Able to be tagged. Vasquez doesn't slide, it just kind of runs into the out.
It's a play right there where you take the out to try to stay out of a double play situation, and they did. Kind of going on contact as soon as the ball's hit. Vasquez coming down the line. They have a chance to turn a double play on that ball. They elected to take the out at home.
So now first and second gives David Ortiz a chance. David has singled to left field and flied out to the warning track in left field. Alex Gordon getting back there on the dirt to make the catch. That's at second base. Bogaerts at first. 2 down in the inning. Bowman was missing low here twice and falling behind. Ortiz 2-0. Starter tonight for the Royals, Liam Hendriks last just 2 1/3 innings. Charged with 3 runs, 2 earned.
Oh. About 5 guys in the Kansas City dugout yelling at Ortiz right now. Who's going to run for you if you do that?
3-1. Cespedes waiting on deck. There are 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning for Boston. Line into center field, a base hit for Ortiz. Mookie Betts being waved around. Lorenzo Cain will throw into second, and the Red Sox take a 4-2 lead. David Ortiz drives in a Red Sox run, and Boston on top here 4-2.
A couple big guys in the lineup, Napoli and Ortiz, with outstanding eyes at the plate, getting themselves into good hitting positions with the count, and then getting a good pitch to hit and just driving that right back up the middle.
Well, 99th RBI of the year for Big Papi. Getting closer to that 100 plateau as Dave Island, the pitching coach out there for Kansas City. Red Sox on top here 4-2 with Cespedes coming up. Cespedes reaching on a fielder's choice in the first, hit by a pitch in the third. Fouled off at the plate. The most popular way to follow the September pennant races is with the MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, replay reviews, scores, live radio broadcasts, the MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Get At Bat for your smartphone or tablet on the App Store. Visit MLB.com. Just Coleman up now for Kansas City. In there for strike 2 to Cespedes. Guards at second, Ortiz at first, 2 down here in the 4th inning. That's at 95 miles an hour. On the ground up the middle, and ranging is Escobar. Flips to second for the force out that ends the inning. Red Sox grab a run, take a 4-2 lead. Eastern Bank is committed to putting you first. Learn all the ways Eastern puts you first at easternbank.com. Back in Kansas City, where Boston has a 4-2 lead on this September the 11th. And we shall not forget on the base paths here and across Major League Baseball, as Salvador Perez leads it off for Kansas City and takes strike 1. Has grounded out to third baseman Will Middlebrooks in the second inning. The Buchholz now has a 2-run lead on top 4-2 and fresh off a 1-2-3 third inning for the right-hander. Oh, 0-2. Straight back. Still 0-2.
Maybe one of the few mistake pitches Buchholz has thrown all evening right there. That ball on 0-2 to a guy who's a known free swinger, just a little bit too much at the plate. Got away with it.
One of the things they added here at Kauffman Stadium is the ginormous video board here in center field now. This thing is huge.
Yes, it is.
Right up to the crown. One-two pitch is swing and a miss, and that's 5 strikeouts now for Clay Buchholz. 1 down.
Mixing pitches, doing a great job. Breaking ball there.
Nika Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance. 5 in a row retired by Buchholz. 1 down here in the 4th inning, and brings up Mike Moustakas. Now for the Royals in this last couple of weeks of the season, it's like the playoffs right now, trying to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's why. You know, I talked about it before. I think these next 10 days to 2 weeks, usually for a lot of teams that have had good seasons, but maybe they're pretenders, this is where you start to bite the bullet a little bit. I mean, no disrespect, but I think Kansas City can be one of those teams. I mean, this could be, this is their season, next 10 days. They're 1 game in front right now against a very talented Detroit team.
The difference between the two teams right now is Kansas City's bullpen is outstanding. Detroit's a little questionable.
Yeah. But if you don't get good starting pitching like they didn't today, you need those guys in the back half of your bullpen to keep you in the game, not to win it for you.
Middlebrooks on the shift, making the diving catch on the liner. 2 down. Usual spot for him to be at. Kind of a knuckleball at him out there.
Nice play. Shift pays off.
2 down here in the 4th inning, brings up Lorenzo Cain. Cain doubled in the 2nd inning. 1 of 4 hits for Kansas City off Clay Buchholz in the game.
See, to me, that's where shifting really throws a wrench into the whole sabermetrics plotting of positions. I mean, basically, that's a line drive to the third baseman. Hit it on the right side of second base. Liner to 5. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it?
No. You think shifting should be outlawed from the game?
Nope. I feel like, I think it's overdone now. I think they shift on guys that, they were shifting on Brock Holt for a while. Yeah. That's the guy that used the entire field. But, some teams are so evenly matched. A lot of people feel like it's the wit of their manager and his ability to work things out for his club that might make the difference between a win and a loss. And if you want to shift, go ahead. I think David Ortiz would like it if they'd outlaw it.
He'd probably be on that list of people.
I think you got to outsmart it.
Down goes Cain. So this got him.
Wow, that happened so fast you almost couldn't see. Let's see here. Now, it hit him like above his knee. It's amazing to see where guys foul balls off their own bodies these days. Better slide that brace up. He's got a shin guard on. He can put it on above his knee.
Two pitch from Clay Buchholz. A bounce in and a full count now.
His job of knocking things down. I like the way that Vasquez works at his game regardless of what the situation is. Nobody on base. You could Olay that one if you want. Oh, just going to backhand. If he gets by me, who cares?
Swinging a foul tip for strike 3. 6th strikeout for Buchholz. He's retired 7 in a row. Longest postseason droughts in Major League Baseball, and these Kansas City Royals on top far and away. 28 years since they have been in the postseason. Toronto 20, Seattle 12, Miami 10, and Houston 8. It's a long time for what is a very good organization over the years. Kansas City. Like Napoli leads it off for Boston here in the 5th inning. Napoli grounded out to second base in the 2nd. Walked in the 3rd with the bases loaded, so he picked up an RBI, his 55th RBI of the year. Ground ball to shortstop. Another chance here for Escobar for the first out here in the 5th inning. As Lewis Coleman up in the pen for Kansas City here. With one out, he'd been up the last inning. And Yost looking at the matchups. Will Middlebrooks coming up here for Boston. Middlebrooks doubled in the 2nd and singled to drive in a run in the 3rd. So Will's 2 for 2 tonight. There for a strike, 1-1. Fly into center field. Lorenzo Cain coming in to make the catch. The ball hit hard by Middlebrooks, but there's nothing to show for it this time. 2 down. H.B. Hood salutes the Red Sox scholars presented by Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. Red Sox Foundation awards college scholarships to academically talented, financially challenged Boston middle schoolers, and the first class graduated from college last year. We thank donors such as H.B. Hood for funding these dreams of college. Jackie Bradley Jr. takes strike 1.
Sometimes the game has no justice. Middlebrooks hammering the ball today. That might have been the hardest ball he's hit all day, and comes up empty there.
Jackie Bradley has struck out swinging, grounded into a 4-6-3 double play. Kansas City getting better each year for the last 6 years. Fouled off to the left, out of play.
Doesn't take long for Twitter to get involved in your everyday life. You're talking about all the guys that wore number 7. I forgot about Ryan Roberts.
Ryan Roberts.
I did forget about him.
Totally forgot him.
Was that this year?
That's my question. I think it was.
Like 8 years ago.
In there for strike 3. That'll end the inning. First strikeout for Coleman. 4-2 Red Sox through 4.5. Wide selection of Green Mountain Coffee K-Cup packs would keep you running and guarantees to satisfy any fan base. Order by 11:30 a.m. and get free same-day delivery. Who but W.B. Mason? Clay Buchholz's pitching line is brought to you by Ace Tickets. 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. Walked the batter, struck out 6, 60 pitches deep into his outing. We head into the bottom of the 5th, and Alcides Escobar leading it off here for Kansas City. Escobar singled to right to drive in a run in the 2nd inning. remind you to vote for the Amica Pitcher of the Week at NESN.com/Amica. Enter to win a $100 gift card from NESN to the Yawkey Way team store. Ball and 2 strikes here to Escobar. Almost dove into that pitch. 2-2. Escobar now, Aoki next, and then Infante.
Tom, what do you think? Do you think there'll be some jostling in positions as far as playoff teams over the next 10 days to 2 weeks, or do you think a team like Kansas City will hang in there and hang on?
I think, to be honest with you, we don't get to see enough of them to really get a feel for them. But I just cannot imagine Detroit not getting it together here down the stretch. And I think Seattle's another one of those teams that could be a pretender, perhaps.
Yep.
As this is back up the middle, Bogart's to his left, and he will throw out Escobar. The thing that amazed me, a team that right now is in okay shape, the Oakland A's, where they have gone. And they had a lead in the American League West, and they are now 9 games back behind the Angels. Angels very impressive in the second half of the season.
Yeah, and you kind of thought it was a matter of time for them. I think their pitching's a lot better than people thought, but you figured they were going to score runs with some of the guys in the middle of that order.
Yeah. Hamilton,
Pujols, Trout.
1 out for Aoki. 2 for 2 in the game, a double and a single. West now belongs to the Angels, it appears. 90 wins already at this point of the year.
Look at the nosedive that the Athletics have taken, but still in the wild card.
Those have won 8 of their last 10 games. Last 10, the Oakland A's have gone 3-7. Had the chance to do their series each of the last 2 years in the postseason, and the one thing Oakland did not do was hit. They pitched great.
Yeah.
And you take Cespedes out of that mix, and you say to yourself, wait a minute, he's the one guy that did hit in the postseason. He hit up over 300 in 2 series against the Tigers, and Oakland did not advance in either of those 2 series. Pitched it to 5 games, but did not get past the Tigers.
On the outside looking in from last year's playoffs in the postseason, it was dismal offensively for almost everybody, even the Red Sox. The Red Sox win the World Series. And take David Ortiz out of the mix there.
700.
And everyone else hitting about $150.
Yeah.
Hit just not well enough to win. Everyone knows that hitting kind of goes by the wayside in the playoffs because you're facing the other team's number 1, number 2 starters almost every night. Makes it much more difficult to hit on a consistent basis.
Cespedes hit .381 last year in the playoffs for the Oakland A's. It's the second walk given up by Buchholz in the first since the first inning. Third time Aoki has been on base. Omar Infante sacrifice bunt in the first inning, flied out to right in the second. So you could have a scenario right now, the AL West won by the Angels and the NL West won by the Dodgers. They can hang in there in the 2.5 game lead in the NL West over the Giants right now.
No. 6 games between those 2 teams, I think, down the stretch.
It's amazing to me, though, that there may be only 1 team coming out of the American League East. Could there be 3 coming out of the West?
I know.
I mean, that's a little different than what we've seen in recent years.
Yeah.
It has been a down year for the American League East, as it turns out.
Oh, a lot of bad teams, really, when you think about it. A lot of bad starts. Teams like the Red Sox were unable to recover. You point back to that 10-game losing streak. Turn around and followed it up with a nice winning streak, but you lose 10 in a row.
It's tough.
You can always say, now it's just been, completely taking a look at the young kids to see what they can do. It's, every night you put on a uniform, you go out and try to win, but this is not the team that they thought they were going to be finishing the season with. don't think anybody in their wildest dreams thought that the Red Sox would be 20 games out of first place.
A's have gone 14-22 since the deal.
Wow.
This is to short, picked on the backhand by Bogaerts. The second base for one, on to first. It is not in time. Infante able to reach, but a nice pick by Bogaerts at shortstop to get the lead runner in Aoki for the second out of the inning.
Bogaerts, after the dive, wants to just make one sure good throw there at second. I don't think he really felt like they could turn a double play anyway. He wants to make sure he gets this out. It's not like he hurries right here. Stand up, make a good throw to Weeks, and if Weeks wants to make the attempt to go ahead, make sure you get that lead out.
Shift on here for Boston for Alex Gordon. We're 0 for 2. He struck out swinging, grounded out to shortstop.
Look at Alex Gordon in this lineup hitting number 3. I don't know if he's really a number 3 hitter, but this organization doesn't have one. So he's kind of stuck in there. You know, he's gone through seasons where he's had to feel like the guy who has to be the most productive guy in the lineup. That doesn't always help you when you don't have anybody else around to help you out. Certainly we've heard the stories of David Ortiz talking about, hey, I need a little protection in there or no one's going to throw me a strike. I think that's exactly the way Alex Gordon has felt.
Billy Butler's offensive struggles, you're looking at a situation, you got Omar Infante hitting in front of him and Josh Willingham hitting behind him. Willingham hitting at 225. In the dirt, Vasquez couldn't let it get too far away from him, and no advance for Infante at first base. Butler on the bench again tonight. For his last 23 at the plate.
Butler has been one of the beloved players here through the rough times in Kansas City, but it's really scuffling right now.
A couple of all-star appearances by himself.
Yeah.
Representing Kansas City.
Ooh.
3 balls and a strike now. And a tight zone tonight for Brian Knight. Josh Willingham on deck, 2 down here in the Royals' 5th inning. Fly ball to right field. In comes Betts. Over comes Bradley Jr. It'll be Bradley Jr. makes the catch in front of Betts to end the inning. We played 5. It's 4-2 Boston. at the Cystic Fibrosis Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. Visit cfmsfund.org for more information. Along to the top half of the 6th inning back in Kansas City. Third pitcher of the night for KC, Lewis Coleman, into the game. His 25th appearance of the year, 1-0 with a 6.66 earned run average. 17 strikeouts to 15 walks, and opponents hitting at .321 against Coleman.
An ERA north of 6 cannot be too appealing. He's happy to get into this game after being up a couple times down there in the pen.
Christian Vasquez leading it off. Reached on an error in the 2nd. Reached on an error in the 4th inning. And then got the third base on another error. Kansas City committing 3 errors. First 4 innings of this ball game tonight.
It's been sloppy. Most of the runs in this game that have scored probably shouldn't have.
Strike 2 to Vasquez. More action for Kansas City. Brandon Finnegan, the left-hander, up. Ten relievers for Ned Yost in the pen with the September call-ups. 1-2 pitch into the ground to Escobar. In time to get Vasquez for the first out of the 6th inning. Ace Ticket, the official Red Sox ticket partner, has the best seats at the lowest prices to all the games at Fenway. All the 200% guarantee. Right now, Ace Ticket has special savings on all Red Sox games. Treat yourself or someone special. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. One down here in the 6th inning brings up Jemile Weeks. Lined out to left in the 2nd inning. Struck out swinging in the 4th inning. We were talking about the turf earlier being removed here from Kauffman Stadium. Think about all the speedsters they had on a lot of those good teams. Willie Wilson jumps out at me as a guy that probably enjoyed the turf here very much in those good speedy teams.
Yes, he did. I believe Willie Wilson had 13 inside the park homers.
That's amazing.
That's a lot. I was thinking like Lorenzo Cain just had an inside the park grand slam. That's fun to watch. That kid hustles right there. He's kind of a raw talent. We talked about him not really playing baseball until late in his life.
Is it Alex Gordon who makes the catch for the 2nd out of the inning? Time for a NESN Sports Today update with Adam and Jamie. All right, thanks very much. Back here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. First and only visit of the year for the Red Sox here to KC. And Mookie Betts batting with 2 outs, bases empty. He shows bunt, almost gets it in the chest.
Coleman's what you'd call a slinger. Kind of throws cross body. Almost looks like he's going to step into the Red Sox dugout before he delivers the pitch. Makes it a little tougher on right-handed hitters.
Last worked on Monday, a 1-2-3 5th inning at Detroit. This is 4th stint of the year with Kansas City.
Did he rent an apartment anywhere?
To third and right at Moustakis. Coleman has a 1-2-3 6th inning. We're through 5.5, 4-2 Boston. Red Sox baseball on Netson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The fountains in Kansas City's Kauffman Stadium. Red Sox so far on top in this game, 4-2, as we play along to the bottom of the 6th inning. And Josh Willingham to lead it off here for Kansas City. Willingham, Hosmer, and Perez to face Buchholz. In there for strike one.
Buchholz has been sailing along, and you get the feeling that he's been in control of this ball game, but it is just a 2-run lead.
This will be his 80th pitch of the ball game.
Been able to get deeper into ball games over his last few. A lot of times when Buchholz starts to have some trouble, it's the 6th inning.
That's 6 1/3 last time out for being chased, and the time before that, the complete game shutout at Tampa Bay.
8 before that too, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah,
8 1/3 against Toronto.
I'm not even going to launch into the conversation of who wore number 7 for the Royals before Willingham got here.
I wouldn't even know where to begin in that conversation.
Hopefully not 4 other guys.
You know who I forgot about is Cody Ross.
But not this year.
No, but I mean in the past I was talking about Trot Nixon and J.D. Drew.
Oh yeah, Cody Ross wore it well.
Ooh, up and in and gets him. Willingham hit.
Well, I think that looked like a changeup that got away from him. Yeah.
Off the W.
And it kind of looks bad when you miss that badly, but when you're throwing a changeup, it's coming off of your little finger. If you mess it up a little bit, that's where it ends up.
So Willingham at first base, lead runner on here for the Royals. First time since the first inning for Kansas City, and they did not score in that first inning. Left a Hokie at third base. Eric Hosmer's had a tough night. All football season play the $500,000 football challenge at Foxwoods Resort Casino. Each week, the guest with the most picks win $5,000. There for a strike, and it's 1-1. Hosmer to right field, shallow. Betts coming in. And Mookie makes the catch for the first out of the inning and send it down to Gary.
Hey guys, the migration of Mookie continues, going from center field to right field, and then potentially as soon as tomorrow going right field to second base. You guys were talking about it earlier, how John Farrell was saying that now because Bracco and Pedroia are out, Mookie Betts now is going to be going back to second base, which really isn't too much of a difference for him. That's actually the position he grew up playing, but for him, he hasn't played it in quite some time. Obviously, hasn't got any reps at second base at the big league level. Even down in AAA, they were putting him in center field to get him ready to play center field here in the big leagues. And I think this is something actually Derek Jeter forecasted when the Red Sox were in New York a little over a week ago. Jeter and Mookie were talking, and Jeter said, listen, anything Brian Butterfield tells you to do it. And Mookie said, yeah, I guess I'm going to have to start listening to Butterfield now. Instead of Arnie Baylor, who is now, of course, the outfield coach, Mookie Betts was taking ground balls earlier today before the game. He was saying it's not quite like riding a bike because the bike in the big leagues is a lot faster and a lot bigger. But he's going to have to learn how to ride it maybe tomorrow.
Well, that's the indication that we will see him tomorrow night. Of course, taking ground balls today, but it should be a pretty easy transition. This transition will be easier for him because that's where he's played minor leagues this season. We're coming up here.
His whole life. You know, we talked a lot about that with Xander Bogaerts too, when they moved him over to third base, and everyone said, maybe it'll take a lot of pressure off him because he doesn't have to play shortstop. No, it was a harder transition for him because he falls out of bed every morning of his life believing that he is a shortstop, not a third baseman. And Betts has played second base most of his life.
Moustakas took a little walk there after taking strike one. Moustakas 0 for 2. He struck out swinging and lined out to third base. Takes it the other way and into left field for a base hit. So up to second goes Willingham on the single by Moustakas, and it's first and second with 2 down. Like Moustakas' birthday today, Paul Bear Bryant, Tom Landry, Larry Connick Jr., and Moby.
Got a base hit on his birthday, I guess, huh?
Two down, first and second.
I knew of all those other birthdays except Moby.
Here's Lorenzo Cain.
Maybe Moby could sing happy birthday to the rest of the guys.
First and second, 2 down. Lorenzo Cain with a double and a run scored in the second inning. Struck out swinging in the fourth inning.
Oh, that's a tough pitch to not get called a strike. You can see there, looks like it's out of the zone, but this is where you need Clay Buchholz to step up. Been really, really good all night. You always hear of pitchers saying, I got the big outs when I needed them. You need one here.
Swing and a miss, 2-1.
Check out this pitch right here. What's that? That's a cutter.
It worked.
Yeah. Just get it off the barrel of the bat. Look at those signs. He's got the pink nail stickers on tonight.
On the ground and through into left field, a base hit. Willingham being waved around. He will score, and it's a 1-run game. 2-out RBI single for Lorenzo Cain.
I don't know if this ball got past Middlebrooks before he really had a chance to get to it, or look, he was going towards the base. He was going towards third base when that ball was hit at him. I don't know if he slipped initially, and I really don't know what was going on there. See if we have another angle. Here you see Middlebrooks. That ball hit to his left. He's going to his right. Something's not right there.
Two on, 2 down, a run in. Tying run in scoring position here for Kansas City. And now City's Escobar coming up. Escobar singled, stole a base, and scored in the second. Grounded out to shortstop in the fifth. Stirring in the Red Sox pen, and we're going to have somebody warming up down there. Off the end of the bat, foul. First up for Boston is Tommy Lane near the Red Sox pen. In there for a strike. And it's 0-2 now to Escobar.
I like his pacing anyway. This game is slowing down right now is because Escobar's out of the box, not because Buchholz doesn't want to throw it. He's in his stretch when things generally slow down for him, but he's ready to go. Here's some of those signs we were talking about. Vasquez flashes them so quickly. I have no idea what he's throwing.
Hopefully Clay does. 0-2 pitch, foul down the right field line and out of play. As we all know, a happy staff equals a productive staff. There's no better way to show your employees a good time than treating them to a night at Fenway Park. Go to redsox.com/groups to book your company outing now.
All right, let's watch his signs. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, I don't even want you to tell me what pitch he's throwing, but let's say the sign that Buchholz is looking for is the one after one. Just tell me what fingers you see after one. You don't have to tell me what pitch it is. What's he throwing?
No idea.
Me either. And you and I know what it's supposed to be.
0-2 pitch. This one fouled off down the right field line. Fastball up.
What did Buchholz say right there? He either said, I didn't see that ball off the bat, or I'm having trouble seeing your signs still. He said, I didn't see it. First sign after one.
Swing and a miss.
It's that pitch right there.
He strikes out Escobar to end the inning. 7 strikeouts for Buchholz. It's 4-3 now. Boston Red Sox and the rest of America run on Dunkin' because our coffee is consistently smooth and delicious. Dunkin' Donuts is the #1 coffee in New England. So you want the best coffee in town, there's only one choice. Dunkin' Donuts. The Boston Red Sox run on Dunkin'. Now it's into the 7th inning we go. Royals get a little closer with a run in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's now 4-3 as Xander Bogaerts leads it off for Boston. Chops it off the plate, and from third, cutting it off on the half hop is Moustakas.
Much tougher play than it looked right there. Moustakas has been great defensively. Hasn't swung the bat well this year. That short hop right there can be tough.
Well, Ned Yost coming out here for Kansas City. Lewis Coleman has gone an inning and a third, and that's going to do it for him. So a pitching change here. The top of the 7th inning. We'll step aside and come back to Kansas City with the Red Sox on top 4-3. Comes out of the game, retires all 4 batters he faced. Brandon Finnegan coming in for Kansas City. Numbers between A ball and AA. Finnegan coming in here with 1 out. Nobody on here for the Red Sox. Lefty to face Ortiz. This one to the backstop inside. 94 on the fastball. It is Major League debut Saturday at New York.
Rushing it up there pretty good from the left-hand side.
He's 21 years of age. In the majors after just 13 minor league outings. 17th overall pick in June. Came the first 2014 draftee to make the majors. They're not wasting any time to get them here.
Well, if you're a lefty and you can run it up there 95, it doesn't take long.
Posted a 0.60 earned run average, 15 innings at Wilmington, a 2.25 at AA from Fort Worth, Texas. Swing and a miss.
That's a thing that a lot of people don't think about when you talk about a guy like David Ortiz. He's going to face your starter, and then he's going to face every one of your toughest relievers. You're not going to face the guy in before him that had an ERA of 6.66. You're going to face left-handed Gas.
Which is what makes it so incredible that once again he's at 30 home runs and 100 RBIs again.
Yeah, he rarely gets to see the bad guy in the bullpen, because as soon as he strolls to the plate, they're bringing in one of their better ones.
On the ground down the first baseline, Hosmer's got it. He'll take it to the bag for out number 2 of the inning. Well, don't miss Red Sox first pitch presented by Men's Warehouse, proudly introducing Joseph Aboud. Adam and Jim Rice will have the latest on Rusney Castillo. That's tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Nesson. Aaron Crow up in the pen. The one is Cespedes. Cespedes reached on a fielder's choice in the first, hit by a pitch in the third. Reached on a fielder's choice in the fourth inning. In a row retired now by Royals pitching. Cespedes fouls it back, 1-1. Outside for ball 2.
I know TC and Jim Rice will be bringing you the post-game show. We briefly talked about it yesterday with Jim Rice in the studio, and they're going through their 30 greatest plays in Nesson's history for the Red Sox. He's so great to be Jim Rice sitting in the studio knowing that, like, you know, what, 15, 16, 17 will involve him. Yeah,
tough to pick your favorite, I guess, if you're Jim.
They say, well, TC, you know, that's when I hit a home run in the ninth to win it. Well, what was this one, Jim? And they just keep coming over and over and over. He's in a lot of them.
Fouled off to the right, out of play. Up into the top deck here in Kansas City.
No, you don't get to take a bow if you don't catch it.
Two down, bases empty, full count here to Cespedes.
Ooh.
He'll take strike 3. That's a tough call right there from Brian Knight. 4-3 Red Sox have the lead. Walk in urgent care in Chestnut Hill. It's open 10 hours a day for minor emergencies. For more information, go to bidnc.org/Chestnut Hill. Clay Buchholz back on the mound here for the 7th inning. 98 pitches, just shy of his average, as high as 120 on the year. They'll be dealing with the top of the Royals order. He's had trouble with the top of the order, namely Nori Aoki, who has doubled, singled, and walked, and has been on base 3 times tonight.
And if you have a little leaguer, don't let him watch Aoki swing the bat.
Drives it to right. Betts will get back to make the catch. You're always talking about how it doesn't matter which way you swing around, but it looked at first like he swung around the wrong way, but had plenty of time to recover.
Yeah. Went to his right and then realized that the ball may hook on him. So when he turned back around, he went to his right again, kind of in a full circle. Gets back there in plenty of time to make the grab. He's got remarkably good instincts for a guy who really hasn't played very much in the outfield.
Double-barreled action for the Red Sox. Tommy Lane, who is up last inning, back up again. He's been joined by Tazawa. Colts has one out here in the 7th inning. First time he's been able to retire Aoki in the game. And now Omar Infante. Take the breaking ball for strike 2.
Betts doesn't have a lot of confidence that Infante can hit it over his head the opposite way. Look how shallow in right field he's playing.
Wow.
You know, when we went to commercial, you and I were discussing that called third strike to Cespedes. That one would have got me kicked out of a game.
You wouldn't have been around, huh?
No. That was not close.
Fouled off to the right. Napoli going over, but he won't have a play. How many times did you get ejected, you think, in your career?
Not too many. I was a big complainer, though, I got to tell you.
Whiner?
Oh, yeah.
You're a whiner?
Yes. I think we all generally were a little bit more whiners in that day than they are today. And I'm actually proud of that for the game. You don't see a lot of guys in the umpire's face. You know, they take it and go and sit down. I mean, watch this pitch for Cespedes. Really? It's a strike? I would have had some choice words. Maybe the magic one.
In the dirt, full count.
I sat down and did my own psychoanalysis with myself, though, and figured out why. When I was such an average player, I felt like I needed every break, you know. And it's funny because Eck talks about the same thing, and he's a Hall of Famer. But he said, I needed everything that was close. If it was close, I needed it to be a strike.
Had to happen.
I was the opposite. If it was close, I needed it to be a ball. If it was a close play at first, I needed to be safe. So in my mind, I was. You know, your mind will play funny tricks on you when you think you're safe.
He's ducking for cover. And it is ball 4. Infante down to first base with 1 out in the inning, tying run at first. And John Farrell coming out to make the change. That's it for Clay Buchholz.
That's a good effort by Clay Buchholz, too.
Works out to be a 6 1/3 outing for him. 4-3 Boston.
for the most part, getting strikeouts with a bunch of different pitches, change-ups. Worked his fastball in really well, do some breaking balls. Tell you what, you look for turning points in the game, and for me, one of the biggest outs he got was in the first inning when he struck out Hosmer there with a guy on third after Aoki doubled to lead off the game. He left him standing there at third base. Could have changed the complexion and the momentum of this ball game. He had walked a guy right before that, came back, got the big strikeout. To me, one of the bigger outs of this ball game, and it happened in the first inning.
Tommy Lane's 23rd appearance of the year, 2-1 with a 1.08 earned run average. Well, it's sitting at 193 against Lane. Comes in with 1 out, 1 on to face Alex Gordon. And there's strike one right down the middle. Gordon 0 for 3. He struck out, grounded out, fly to center. Tying run at first base here for Kansas City as they bat in the 7th. Check on that tying runner, and Fonte back to the bag.
Tommy Lane, his MO is to get ahead in the count like he has, and then move further and further off the plate, away from Gordon.
Buchholz responsible for Infante at first base. It's his 3rd walk of the night and the last batter he faced. All to strike now to Gordon. Strike on the outside corner.
Yep. For that same pitch, a little lower and a little farther off of the plate. Hopefully you get someone to chase it.
Gordon chases and strikes out. Lane strikes him out for the 2nd out of the inning. It'll be 1 and done for Tommy Lane.
What a great job. Paid a lot of money, come in, throw 5 pitches, and sit down.
Tommy Lane is done pitching. Change from Kansas City, 4-3 Boston. Tazawa coming in. Ole Miss Red Sox Game Day Live presented by DCU Digital Federal Credit Union tomorrow at 7:30. Adam and Jim Rice will continue the top 30 Red Sox moments on NESN Countdown with number 16, DCU Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? 4-3 Boston on top. Runner at first with 2 down, and Tommy Lane with a strikeout, the only guy he faced.
Well, he did exactly what he wanted to do. Come in there, get ahead in the count, then throw some breaking balls.
Now Shinichi Tozawa into the game for Boston. Josh Willingham batting with 2 down, and Omar Infante at first base.
Tommy Lane, Will Nieves talking things over there. Buchholz strolled by, said thank you.
Bogaerts tags the bag at second to end the inning. Tozawa on 1 pitch gets out of it. The same CVS Pharmacy and make a donation to Boston Children's Hospital with a $25,000 donation once again this season. CVS Pharmacy is the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox. 4-3 Boston on top of Kansas City. As we head into the 8th inning, Mike Napoli, Will Middlebrooks, Jackie Bradley Jr. to face the new Kansas City pitcher, Aaron Crow. 63rd appearance, 6-1 with a 3.60 earned run average, 31 strikeouts, 20 walks, and opponents hitting at .239 against Crow. Mike Napoli walked with the bases loaded back in the 3rd inning to pick up his 55th RBI of the year. He's grounded out twice. Up. Second baseman Omar Infante steps onto the grass to make the catch for the first out of the inning. Time for a Toyota game break in Tom Caron, TC. All right, Tom, thanks very much. So the troubles continue for the Oakland A's. Down here in the 8th, and Will Middlebrooks takes strike one.
Chris Sale is a name that you're going to be hearing a lot about in the offseason. Not a free agent, still under control of the Chicago White Sox, but they're not going anywhere. Why do you want the best lefty, one of the best lefties in the game? When you might be able to get yourself a bunch of prospects for him. I could think of a team that might be interested in him that has a bunch of prospects.
Let me guess. Team that may need an ace?
Yeah. They wear colored socks. Red ones.
You worried about his frame at all? He may break down. You mean thin guy?
You mean the fact that he's 6'7" and weighs 120 pounds?
Yeah. Is that a concern?
Remember, he went on the DL early in the season after he had 129 pitch effort against the Red Sox. I don't think so. I don't think I'm any more concerned about him hurting himself than anyone else. I think he's already proved that he's pretty durable, and he is nasty.
Aaron Crow in here, the 5th pitcher of the game for Kansas City. Looks on a check swing. Didn't go. Wasn't asked, but Manny Gonzalez gave his thoughts anyway.
I think if there's a worry about Sale, it's more about his funky delivery. He throws a lot of knees and elbows and lots of stuff at you before the ball gets there.
Don't miss W.B. Mason extra innings right after the game. The guys will break down Clay Buchholz's start and have John Farrell's post-game comments. Can't go wrong when you buy right at W.B. Mason. Kansas City pitching has retired 11 Red Sox in a row. One down here in the 8th. Middlebrooks fouling it back to the screen. Let's see his 7th pitch in this at bat. Pro last worked on Tuesday at Detroit. 11 innings of work in his career against Boston and only giving up 1 run. Breaking ball missing. Full count now. All 4 and Middlebrooks is on. 3rd time of the game he's reached.
Another good at bat. Saw a quick picture of Ned Yost there, the manager here in Kansas City. He's always been one of those guys that sort of manages teams that have been out of the race, rebuilding, if you will, trying to get over the hump. You can almost taste it here in Kansas City. He was a member of the Atlanta Braves staff way back when I played for the Braves in 1992. Great guys to learn under. Bobby Cox, Jimmy Williams, some of those guys. Kind of manager you kind of hope for good things to happen to, because he certainly put in his time.
He's not pleased with the crowds here. Talking about that a little bit, this first place Royals team.
That didn't help him. He said he was disappointed that his first place team was playing so well and nobody came to watch him play. I get the frustration. It's just sort of not something that you can say publicly and get away with it. People aren't going to be happy about it.
28,673 run hand at one time tonight. Some have ducked out. Runner goes, and Middlebrooks, and a little hit and run here. Flipped to shallow left. Alex Gordon coming in to make the catch for the 2nd out of the inning. As Bradley flies out, 2 down. So 2 down, and it brings up Christian Vasquez. reached on 2 errors in this game. One by the first baseman, Eric Hosmer. One by the shortstop, Escobar. Red Sox have further action in their pen. Greg Britton is up. Now we'll get the final out of the 7th inning.
That was hard work, too.
1 pitch.
Yep.
Still stretching. There's a look of the guy maybe coming back out again.
For a guy who's certainly had enough work during the season, they run him out there every day. That last inning was easy work. Probably get him back out there for another one.
Vasquez fouling it back to the screen. Popped out to begin the inning. Middlebrooks walks. Jackie Bradley Jr. flying out to left, 2 down. Runner at first base. That's going to miss. 2-2. Weeks waiting on deck. Red Sox batting here in the 8th inning. Another close pitch. Well, not getting credit. Full count.
Couple close pitches here in this at bat. 4th and 5th pitches, maybe catching the zone. Both of them called differently.
Vasquez chops it off the plate down the third baseline, foul. Have a son or daughter who want to learn more about baseball or their favorite Red Sox players? Now you can. Check out NESSONClubhouse.com. It has videos, games, and a whole lot more. It's fun, free, and easy to use. NESSONClubhouse.com. Might see Steve Lyons do some instructionals. Dustin Pedroia. Is that on NESSON Clubhouse? I saw it somewhere.
It floats around out there.
It makes its way around the circuit. 3-2 pitches, ball 4. The second walk of the inning given up by Aaron Crow.
I know who you will see on NESSON Clubhouse.
The striker.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't miss one.
That's unfortunate sometimes. The 2 guys.
Come on, man. You're the master of that
Psycho,
show.
man. We need to get you out there a little bit more. More shaving cream in the glove. I think TJ and the kids like that one.
Yeah, he's finally over it. He probably will invite me back now.
Open invitation, man.
I got it.
Call the shots on that show, man, so you can come over anytime.
All right.
I call 0 shots, actually. So, Don, we got to get you out there, man. What's going on with that? By the way.
I don't know. 2 on, 2 down here. Jamal Weeks, the batter. 0 for 3. Switch in there for strike 1. Weeks is lined out to left, struck out swinging, lined out to left again.
It took me half the season to realize that Gary wasn't actually 12 years old.
No, he's not. He's actually older than that.
Yeah.
Not much older than that, but he is older than that.
Thought he was fitting right in with the youngsters.
Francisli Bueno up in the pen.
good name.
He is good.
Very good.
1-1 pitch in there for a strike. Rowe has walked 2 in the inning, trying to work around those 2 walks. Line off the glove of Hosmer down the right field line. Middlebrooks coming around from second base. He will score. Vasquez being waved around, and bobbling it is Aoki all over the place down there. And 2 more runs come in for the Red Sox. They take a 6-3 lead. A double and 2 runs batted in. A hot shot off the glove of Eric Hosmer at first base. This will bring Dave Island out. So the walks are costly. They lead to 2 runs.
Hosmer continues his tough day down there at first base. A ball off his glove. And then Aoki's got a long way to go, but it gets it rattles around down there by where the tarp meets the wall. The ball off the glove. A tough play. That was way out on the fingers. Watch this ball now. What's it going to do down here? All right, follow that thing around. See what it eats. Good break for the Red Sox as the second run was able to score. Vasquez all the way from first.
Well, the Red Sox on top now 6-3. It was a 1-run game. Not anymore. And Jamal Weeks standing at second base. Mookie tonight with 2 hits. Both singles, 1 to left, 1 in the infield to third base.
About the effort of Buchholz tonight, continuing a string of really good starts, turning his season around.
It gives you an indication of, or at least gives you a glimpse of what you expect from Clay Buchholz, and to finish the year strong, certainly a very good thing for him.
Yeah, I think there was a period of time during this season where a lot of people were losing confidence in his ability to get guys out, doubting his mettle a little bit maybe, and I think he even was. Turn things around. It's good. It's good to see again. They're going to need him.
Two balls and a strike here to Mookie Betts. Going to third base, or trying to, is, and safely, is Jamal Weeks stealing third. Keeping the pressure on here.
Now Weeks gets a good jump, and it's a tough throw when there's a right-handed hitter out there. He just noticed that nobody was really paying attention to him. Safe. With his type of speed, you don't really have to steal third base in that situation. You're going to score on a base hit. With 2 outs in the inning, you better be safe.
3-2 the count now to Mookie Betts. Another run 90 feet away. And Betts hits a ground ball. Picked at third by Moustakas. Spins and fires and gets him. Ends the inning, but the Red Sox add 2 and take a 6-3 lead. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by the new Scion TC, Southwest Airlines, and by New England Ford dealers. Union Station in downtown Kansas City at 6-3. Boston on top of the Royals. And Eric Hosmer leading it off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. A couple of big runs for the Red Sox in the top half of this inning. Hosmer 0 for 3 in the game. He struck out twice and fly to right. Zawa got the final out of the 7th. He starts the 8th. Red Sox with action in their pen. Drake Britton has been joined by Burke Badenhop. Fly ball to left center field. Cespedes coming in. Makes the catch for the first out of the bottom of the 8th inning. Well, stay tuned tonight following WB Mason Extra Innings Live for Red Sox Final presented by Esurance. Send your questions to TC at hashtag Sox Final. Maybe yours will be answered on Red Sox Final presented by Esurance. One out in the 8th. And Salvador Perez coming up.
Perez having a long conversation there with Vasquez at home plate. He didn't look all that thrilled. Complete speculation here, but you think he's saying anything about Weeks stealing third base there? Certainly within his rights to do it. It's not like it's a 10-3 game.
I mean, you know more about the unwritten rules than I do, but that wouldn't be.
Yeah, I don't think it's about an unwritten rule, but he might just be saying, dude, making me look bad right there with 2 outs, stealing third base. Why? What's going on? It wasn't like a happy conversation that he was having with Vasquez.
In the air to left field down the line. Cespedes heading over. And Yoenis will get there in fair ground for the second out of the 8th inning. He's handled the first 2. So 2 down, and Mike Moustakas coming up here for Kansas City. Red Sox going into a shift on Moustakas, with Middlebrooks going to the right side of the infield.
I think you're going to have to remind me tomorrow when we get here to go down and ask Christian about that conversation and see what it was about. It's your homework assignment.
All right, I'm on it.
All right.
2 down here in the 8th. Mike Moustakas, the batter. There for strike 1. Jackie Bradley Jr., the center fielder, over towards right center as the Red Sox shift on the right side of the infield. They Buchholz starting tonight, 6 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, walked 3, struck out 7. Chance for his 8th win of the year came in individually at 7 and 8. Lorenzo Cain waiting on deck. Moustakas on his birthday today from Los Angeles, California. He was born in L.A.
He was a first rounder, wasn't he?
I believe he was.
Pretty sure that
Give you some facts here in a minute.
When he got drafted by the Royals in the first round out of high school in Southern California, it was when I was working for the Dodgers, and we had him on the pregame show when he was a high school senior, just getting ready to start his career as a soon-to-be millionaire after getting drafted in the first round.
Resides in Northridge, California. Yeah, he was a first-round pick. As a swing and a miss. Strikes out, and Vasquez will apply the tag that ends the inning. First strikeout for Tazawa, 6-3, Boston at the end of 8. Tonight's game summary is brought to you by Xfinity. Clay Buchholz 6 1/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs in this game, and the 3 that he gave up. Well, Middlebrooks a nice night, 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI. As Liam Hendricks was chasing this game after just 2 2/3 innings, as he gives up 3 runs, 2 earned. Kansas City has now used 6 pitchers in the game, and the most recent, Francisco Bueno, comes into the game. Bueno is the 28th appearance here. No record, of 4.45 earned run average, 19 strikeouts, 6 walks. Left-hander gets a strike over. Even the count of 1-1 to Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts and Brian Knight hearing it from the Red Sox dugout. One to Bogaerts. To center field and in for a base hit to get the 9th inning started. Alltown, New England's premier convenience retailer, is committed to supporting the communities they serve. For every home run the Red Sox hit the rest of the season, Alltown will donate $500 to the Cystic Fibrosis Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. Visit cfmsfund.org for more info. Bogaerts with a leadoff single to begin things here in the 9th inning. Now David Ortiz. 2 hits and an RBI for Ortiz as they shift on the right side, but he's been close to the infield with the double play possibilities. Red Sox closer now, Edward Mujica up in the pen. What right now is a save situation.
What do you think Francisco's nickname is?
Muy.
It's too easy, isn't it? It's not Frank.
Sicily Bueno. Back to the mound. Bueno can turn 2 here to second for 1 and on to first for 2.
You'd have to have either a really good sense of humor or a lot of guts to name your son Mooey if his last name is Bueno. This is the easiest double play you'll ever see in your life right there. Big David not getting down the line all that quickly, and Sicily turned that quickly when he turned around and got it over there to second. Nice.
2 down here in the 9th inning. Brings up Yoenis Cespedes. Not have a hit tonight. Reached twice on a fielder's choice. Been hit by a pitch and struck out looking. Crow ended up going in inning, giving up 1 hit and 2 runs. Also walked 2. Both of the walks turned into runs. Not strike anybody out. 2 big runs for the Red Sox in the top of the 8th. They now bat here in the 9th on top by 3. Cespedes towards right center field. And that ball is going to get over the head of Aoki in right field. And Cespedes is thinking 3. Headed in that direction. He'll get there without a problem. A triple with 2 down here in the 9th inning for Yoenis Cespedes.
That's a pretty tough pitch to hit. That ball was going down and away from him. Hammers that ball. I don't know what Aoki was doing out there. Watch this slide into third. Watch how graceful this is. Zip.
Now just 90 feet away with 2 down here in the 9th inning. And Napoli here up, and they're just going to put him on. Take their chances with Middlebrooks. So they're going to walk one right-hander to get to another. Confused.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing it here. I think they're much more worried about Napoli putting one in the seats and taking this game completely out of reach than they are with Middlebrooks, although Middlebrooks had a nice day today at the plate, squaring up everything. Now you're thinking, hey, Napoli hits a home run here. Now it's 8-3. No chance. Pitch around him, get to the next guy, we get out of this. Still a 3-run game. Middlebrooks takes you deep. All bets are off.
So 2 down, first and third. And Middlebrooks, what a good night, as you mentioned. A double in the second, a single in the third. He lined out sharply center field in the 5th. Walked in, scored in the 8th.
I mean, if the roles were reversed here, if this is the Red Sox in this situation, you pitch to him. Ned Yost has got to manage every game right now like it's a playoff. They certainly have playoff implications for him. The last 20 games of the year, you pretty much got to manage it like you're already in the playoffs.
Gets away, but not far enough away for Cespedes to try it.
Bueno was another guy who defected from Cuba. Wonder if he knows Cespedes at all. Defected and then played for the Dominican Winter League for a couple seasons before he actually signed with the Braves originally.
On the ground left side, Moustakas cuts it off and goes to second base for the force out that ends the inning. We head to the bottom of the ninth, 6-3 Boston. Buchholz, who stands to get a win here if he can get some help from the pen.
He looked good tonight. Stayed down the zone. Used his changeup really, really well tonight. Mixed in the breaking ball every once in a while. Threw his fastball. Couple cutters, not too many.
6-3, Red Sox on top of the Royals as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning. Edward Mujica into the game for Boston. 60th appearance of the year, 2-4 with a 4.25 earned run average, 4 out of 5 in save opportunities, 40 strikeouts and 13 walks. Opponents hitting at 300 against Mujica. Lorenzo Cain leading it off for Kansas City, and he takes strike one.
I like when we feature a player like that, like we did of Buchholz right there, and they show you the quick picture before they go to his highlights. He had some good lettuce going there, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
Earlier in the year.
Oh, yeah. Might have been a spring training shot.
To first, Napoli will take it himself for the first out of the ninth inning. There it is. Look at that.
That's golden.
Flowing moss.
Yes, it is. And it's, you know, for Buchholz, it seems like he can grow it back in like a week.
Yeah.
His hair is like halfway down his back again if he wants it to be. Be nice to be young again, huh?
Yeah, I just like to have some.
To have some moss, yeah.
One out here in the ninth. Alcides Escobar, 1 for 3. An RBI single back in the second inning. Mujica gave up a couple of runs yesterday in an inning of work against Baltimore.
Wasn't a safe situation.
Right. Different mentality.
Yeah, it is weird. I get it a little bit. I don't get it when people talk about that same situation when it's a tie game in the ninth and you're at home. It's not a save situation, but it's a win situation. If you come in, do your job in the ninth, gives your chance a team to win in the bottom of the ninth. Tons of managers use their closers in that situation. It's the right thing to do.
Center field, Bradley Jr. coming in for out number 2 of the ninth.
But if you're a closer and you kind of thrive on that, the adrenaline of getting a save in the ninth inning late when the game's technically on the line, I get it when you come in and the game's 8-2.
Just coming in to get some work. That never seems to work well.
No.
It's on the same adrenaline. And in the past, we've seen closers in spring training not very good either. Very tough to replicate a spring training situation, a closing situation. Who's never in a closing situation in spring training.
Yeah. Or your closer's in the game in the third.
Right.
Spring training. The only way that really works is if you're a closer who you're trying to make the team. You were last year's AAA closer. You're trying to make the team. Maybe you go into the game with that same thing. But Koji, spring training? Really? Talk about just getting in your work.
2 down here in the 9th inning. Nori has doubled, singled, walked, and flied to right. And Lorenzo Cain both with 2-hit nights tonight for Kansas City. Fouls it off himself, and it's 1-2.
It almost looks like the bat swings him rather than the other way around. He's halfway to first base. Look at that.
Chopper right side. Jamal Weeks plays the high hop and throws him out. The Red Sox win. A nice 1-2-3 9th inning for Edward Mujica, who picks up the save as the Red Sox take the first game of this 4-game series against Kansas City. We're back with more right after this.